Hi everyone, welcome back to God's Whispers, a place where we take the time to pause and reflect on the word of the Lord. Today I'm going to be speaking about the Gospel according to Luke, chapter 11, verses 15 through 26. It's about some people accusing Jesus of casting out demons. Let's listen. When Jesus had driven out a demon, some of the crowd said, "By the power of Beelzebul, the prince of demons, he drives out demons." Others, to test him, asked him for a sign from heaven. But he knew their thoughts and said to them, "Every kingdom divided against itself will be laid waste, and house will fall against house. And if Satan is divided against himself, how will the kingdom stand? For you say that it is by Beelzebub that I drive out demons. If I then drive out demons by Beelzebub, by whom do your own people drive them out? Therefore there will be judges. But if it is by the finger of God that I drive out demons, then the kingdom of God has come upon you. When a strong man fully armed guards his palace, his possessions are safe. But when one stronger than he attacks and overcomes him, he takes away the armor on which he relied and distributes the spoils. Whoever is not with me is against me, and whoever does not gather with me scatters. When an unclean spirit goes out of someone, it roams through arid regions, searching for rest. But finding none, it says, "I shall return to my home from which I came." But upon returning, it finds it swept clean and put in order. Then it goes and brings back 7 other spirits, more wicked than itself, who will move in and dwell there. And the last condition of that man is worse than the first. So, when I was researching this, in the first century, exorcisms were known but rare. Religious leaders were threatened by Jesus' authority. To explain his power, they accused him of working with Satan. Jesus responds by saying, "A kingdom divided against itself cannot stand." That line later inspired Abraham Lincoln's speech on national division, which I thought was pretty cool. Another thought is, in Jewish thought, Satan was seen as a ruler who held people in bondage. By casting out demons, Jesus is proving that he is stronger. This isn't just about healing, it's a cosmic battle. And then Jesus warns that it's not enough to be freed by evil. We must be filled with God. Otherwise, that emptiness leaves room for worse to return. So we live in a culture now where that spiritual emptiness might feel common. People might clear out their bad habits, but if God isn't at the root of it, a void is often filled with something else. Anxiety, addictions, distractions. So Jesus calls us not to be freed, but to be filled with his Spirit. So journal prompts that would go along with this would be, where do I see a division in my own heart? And what are the things in my life that Jesus can only overcome? And have I asked Jesus not only to remove what is harmful, but to in turn fill me with his Spirit? And how can I stand with Christ today, remembering whoever is not with me is against me? This passage reminds us that Jesus just doesn't clear out darkness. He replaces it with his light. The question is, do we let him fill our hearts with light? I hope this message encouraged you, and if you feel like a friend could use some encouragement, please feel free to pass it along. And don't forget to subscribe so you can continue to hear God's Whispers.